Simply Vibin' with Christi Chanel and Phoebe James.
It's going to be that kind of night.
Let's go.
And we are back. I know you guys cannot keep up because we don't have a schedule. We have no schedule. We kind of just run with it. And but the good thing about a podcast is a lot of people don't listen to it the day it's released. So that's a positive. What we can promise 100% is that we will give you at least one episode every 3 months. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Get it together in 2025.
Let's hope we get it together. Yeah. So right now we're just going to say at least one a month, maybe two. I mean, if we're really feeling it, 4. So
that would be the max.
Yeah, that would be it. But so today we are getting ready to head into our holiday season. And along with the holiday rush, we also have the holiday news. A lot's happening right now in the end of 2024, which is only fitting because this year has been a dumpster fire. Complete and total dumpster fire. So how are you doing, Phoebe?
I'm okay. I mean, like you said, dumpster fire. My husband's joining me tonight. He won't be here for long, though. But
That's okay. Hey, the more the merrier.
Dumpster fire. Perfect way to describe this year for me and just me in general right now.
What's going on, man? What's happening?
Holidays, which normally I love, and I'm usually so cheerful. I mean, Christmas is my favorite time of year. But I don't know if we've talked about it much, but my mother passed away this year. And so I knew the holidays would be hard, but I had no idea how hard they were going to be. I actually cried on my way home from work today. It just kind of hits me. Random times, small things make me think of her. And so, yeah, I'm kind of back dipping down low with the deal and all of that. But I know time will heal and no, it won't heal. Actually, wait, never mind.
Well, it doesn't heal. It doesn't heal.
Easier, maybe.
It does. It does. And the pain starts to turn to positive things. You know what I mean? You start to feel more just love and I know it, less pain and more love. You know what I mean? And you look back and you remember all the good things and how lucky that, you know, because my mom passed away too. So mine, of course, I have a lot of time in between my healing and how my Christmas is now. So I'm your future. I'm the future. Right. And it did not get easier for a little while. And, you know, of course, I still think of her and miss her. And there are just times when it hits me out of nowhere. It could be just a roller coaster of emotion. Something will trigger it, a memory or a show or a song. And I'll feel that way. But it does, the pain part does subside with time, and there's nothing else that can make it go faster, unfortunately. Right. You know?
Yeah, I'm just being graceful with myself and, you know, asking the people around me be patient, you know, whenever I'm having these moments, because it's not like me to just cry out of the blue, but I'm embracing it because I know that's what I got to do to, you know, that's part of the process. So trying not to run from it, trying not to mask it and all that.
That's 100% of it. Because I mean, you and I have had conversations before about it, and I told you that I did run from it. I didn't want to feel it. And so I just went numb. But not only did I go numb for the pain of her, but I also went numb to people around me. And I think, obviously, looking back, I realized that wasn't the healthiest way for me to go about it. But being 24, about to turn 25, I didn't even know how to deal with other types of things, much less the biggest pain of my entire life.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I do know before your mother passed, you were a huge holiday person. And always the one that had the decorations out first and the one that was always, you know, planning stuff. I did see that you put a Christmas tree in your office and decorated it.
I
Mm-hmm.
did. Yeah, that was actually it was my mom's tree, so I didn't want it to just be left in a box. So I thought at work would be a good place for it because then it'll have a home every year and I can look at it, when I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. I decorated the house because I got a 10-year-old and I couldn't let him down with no tree or anything. So I did that. And then he was wanting to do the outside. He's been pressuring me and my husband to like put up our outside decorations. And so last weekend we actually did. So
Mm-hmm.
it's Christmas here finally, even though I don't feel jolly, but we'll
But
accept
yeah,
it.
and it's the mom duties that I think will help pull you out of it.
Yeah, he's obviously a big help.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, feel it, Phoebes, feel it.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll be through the holidays soon. But for now, for me, I don't even have a tree up. I'm telling you, as a mom, you're tree. What? Yeah, I don't even have a tree up. I think it's because we're planning to go to Portland for Christmas
Yeah, you
early.
won't even be there.
No, we're not going to be here. My son and I are taking a road trip together. It's about a 30 and a half hour trip. So it's definitely an undertaking, but he's a junior, and I wanted to make sure that we had those moments that you look back on and remember, like we took a trip together, and
Yeah, that's gonna be an awesome memory. That's
I
fun.
hope
That's like
so.
a good adventure.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. And then we're going to go see my stepdad, who I haven't seen in 14 years. So, and that ironically plays into my mom's death
Yeah.
because he raised me, and my mom and my stepdad were together 20 years. And it was a pain. Like I said, I went numb to everybody and everything around me. He was included in that whole thing, and watching him move on was just too rough on me. So I just pulled myself out of the situation completely for 14 years.
Wow.
I know, 14 years. So I think doing the podcast has really helped me heal a lot. I talk about things that maybe I wouldn't have normally talked about, which got me to a place to start really looking around saying, time's ticking, and I can't hold on to this anymore, and I need to make memories now with him before I can't do that anymore.
Right.
So,
And then
yeah.
you have that regret. So that's really good you're doing it. So this is like a special trip twofold with your son spending that time and then seeing your stepdad who 14
Yeah.
years is a long time. That's a
It's a long
lifetime, you
time.
know? So
Mhm. It's a lifetime, and it just shows you what I did to myself by not going through it. I could have done it. I can't take full blame. And I'm not going to take full blame because I think he was grieving and moving on in the only way he knew how. So it was
yeah.
both of us kind of doing that. So this is the time to make amends and move forward, and hopefully this is the start of a new relationship, a different relationship, and we'll see how it goes. But Christmas is upon us, and
It's
I've done
here.
no shopping. None.
Well, you can't see me, but I have a lot of presents to wrap behind me still. I didn't shop nearly as much this year as usual. Like normally I buy for and this year is a very small list of who I bought for. So I
Mm-hmm.
apologize to all those who I normally would get a gift, or I might have wanted to, Christy. But I don't have anything this year.
No, that's cool. That is so cool. I'm spending it all on my trip. No worries. But I will expect one next year, and you have the whole year to plan.
Okay, it'll be double next year.
um, yeah, no, just take me to lunch and I'll be good to go, which you did already. So we'll just call that Christmas.
Do it again. I might come up with something.
No, you know what? No worries.
I'm
No.
not getting my nieces and nephews like my grown ones. I'm getting their kids something. So like I said, if you're under 18, you'll get a gift.
Hmm.
Over 18, I ain't doing it this year.
Yeah, that's a lot of family rules. I mean, a lot of times
Yeah,
families do that because there's
yeah.
too many people.
Yeah, our family's grown, but every year we start the year saying, or the beginning of the season saying we're not buying for everyone, and then come Christmas Eve, my sisters, their spouses, we'd all have gotten each other something, and we'd have just
Hmm.
so many gifts and so much fun Christmas Eve. I think that's why it's hard. Christmas Eve was a big thing for our family, me and my mom and my sister. So
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
my
mean,
favorite day of the year, and yeah, we're not even doing it this year.
it doesn't, just for the record, it doesn't feel like Christmas for some reason anyway. Like, it just doesn't. And it's not because I'm sad, and it's not because of anything. It's just,
Okay.
it doesn't feel like Christmas. It could be my fault because I don't have a Christmas tree up. You gave me garland that I put in my office, and I just threw it on the bottom shelf.
Here. Yeah, I
I
thought that was
liked it.
cute.
Yeah. And maybe next year I'll get more jolly and we'll do more with it.
There you
But
go.
yeah, I mean, honestly, when we're looking towards 2025, just in the world and the news and the headlines, it's very weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say the whole world is a dumpster fire. I think right now, it's not just
It's
us.
right. Everybody's joining us. I think we all feel it, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's some nerves about going into 2025. Just what are we in for?
Heck yeah. Yes, the world is nutty, a nutty place
Uh-huh.
right now, and it could be even nuttier than the last time this man was president, considering how weird the world's gotten since COVID. Like, could you? I don't know. I mean, we got drones. Like what is happening? Nobody understands what's happening in the world right now.
No. And one more thing, you mentioned COVID
Uh huh.
and the bird flu. California just declared a state of emergency for
Really?
the bird flu. I'm not even kidding. And they said there's like 34 in one confined area in California, which is a lot when they don't normally have that or any other state. So now I'm worried because if it's declared there and we're right here in holiday season,
Everybody's traveling, and yeah, they
mm-hmm.
said this year is like going to set another record for the most people traveling for the holidays. Every year, it's like a new record of travel, and yeah, that's how all that stuff spreads.
Yeah, so we got that in the air.
Yeah,
But what were you saying? What did you hear about the drones? I mean, I've heard my own stuff, but
it's so
what'd you
much
come up
going
with?
on. Actually, let me pause.
Sure.
Okay, I'm trying to fit it in at a good place. So, when Toussaint walked out, he didn't close the doors, and so I
Ah,
feel like we were picking up Caleb's little voice in the background this whole time.
okay.
Okay. So,
I thought you were gonna pull out a drone for me. I was like, is it you, Phoebe? Are you the one that's doing it?
I am not tech savvy enough to pull that one off. I can tell you now. They'd have solved it a long time ago if it was me doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's just so many wild conspiracies, but I mean at the end of the day right now, from what I'm hearing, nobody really knows what they are. So, it's up to us to decide. I mean, that's never a good thing when you don't tell people and you just let them decide on their own. Like they're going to come up with the wildest theories. So, I mean, that's all we're all working with right now.
Well, and then
Uh,
different people come out and say different things, and it's nobody in our government seems to know anything, which is
yeah.
freaking me out a little bit.
Yeah. So, for people that don't know, I mean, we're talking about these drones that suddenly, I mean, they started getting spotted, what, about a month ago in November over New Jersey, it seemed like where they were concentrated. But then since then, they've been kind of fanning out all over the US, and they've been spotted in like Pennsylvania, I know. They was spotted over Trump's one of his properties, his golf course in Bedminster, just all up along the East Coast. But then you sent me a story yesterday about they're in North Texas.
Yeah, but I think North Texas is more like people like us civilians like screwing with people. But in the you don't
Well,
think
I
so?
mean, mm, the only reason why I take pause to that is because they were flying in like a no-fly zone,
Yes.
and that is where what's kind of troubling. I don't know that people would do that, and then I feel like the average Joe that just wants to do it for kicks or whatever, I feel like they'd get caught pretty quickly too. Like, we'd be able to trace that back. I keep pulling this light off. God damn it.
I do think I don't know. They just I don't remember who was out there talking. You know me. I'm light on the facts and just more on the theory.
You're
um
silly.
but somebody came out, a representative, I don't know who it was, a
Which
sheriff,
one?
whatever. The Texas one.
Oh, okay, yeah, and he's. I mean, he said he's looking right because it's flying over
Yeah.
like military, like near military installations and things, right?
And
Around
that's
here.
prison, right? You can go to jail for that.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
have gone to prison for flying drones in no-fly zones. Like they've literally gone to prison for that.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we're like, I don't know, the government's just kind of sitting on it and not saying much, and we don't know, and we can't figure it out. Like that's either our government is really stupid, or it's them doing it. I mean, what is it? I don't
Say
understand how they
less.
can, yeah, come out and say like, oh, but we know that it's not, they're not going to harm us. Like, well, if you don't even know what they are, how do we know if they're not going to harm us? So either they know a lot more and they think we're dumb, or they don't know and they're dumb. I don't know which one it is, Christy.
Okay, well, I find it really difficult to believe they don't know anything. I
I do
mean,
too.
we have the FBI, the CIA, we have so many departments that are funded that are able to figure out things like that. And so
Yeah.
for them not to know, I think it's more like either it's a protected bit of information that if we knew would cause problems for them, or it's
Uh-huh.
something that would terrify us and they don't want to send us into a state of panic, which I get. But I also feel like I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, why and are they so important, more important than we are, that they can't tell us things like this? Like, why?
Yeah. And I will say, I mean, that's one thing about Trump coming into office. I think he would tell us. I think he would outright be like, this is what's happening. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he would tell us.
I
But I don't
maybe.
know. That's what I said. I don't know. Either they're really inept, or they're hiding something from us. Whether that's because it's like there's a variety of reasons why that could be too. But have you heard
Mhm.
some of the conspiracy theories? That's where the fun comes in.
Hit me.
Some of
Hit
this
me with
stuff
it.
that they're coming up with. Well, this isn't really a conspiracy theory. This started as like news, but it was fake news supposedly. But U.S. Congressman Jeff Van Drew claimed that these were Iranian drones. That Iran has a
Mm.
mothership off the coast, the east coast of the U.S., and they're sending these drones out um, to spy on us. I guess. Have you heard that one?
I have heard that mothership
Okay.
there. Hmm.
Yeah, and they're saying that one's not true, of course. Um,
I don't believe it is either.
you don't believe that one's true?
Mm-mm.
I mean, I'm hearing that. I just don't know that if Iran could have that kind of technology, because they're saying they're like SUV sized, and the battery life on them, there's no technology we have that could sustain that long of a battery life. Um, so
I also think that they would have known about it. Like, I feel like we're supposed to be two steps ahead of what's happening.
yeah,
Typically they are, and then they release it when they have to release it, but they know about it ahead of time. So I would think if that was the case, they would have probably known about it ahead of time.
yeah.
And they seem like that's why I don't believe that it's that. And they would move it, they would stop it.
Yeah, and why haven't they shot him down? There's a lot of congressmen now. I mean, a lot of people in the political game saying like, why aren't we shooting them down? Like, if we really don't know what they are, we'd have shot them down. Like, there's just no way we don't know and are just sitting here and letting them fly over our heads. I don't get it.
Well, you heard about the one that either was shot down or crashed in Hillsborough, New Jersey, right?
No, you
Yes.
have info on that one?
I saw that there was one that went down, and then there was, I always get my stuff from TikTok. They had somebody that went live and said, I'm going to go down there and see what's going on. And he's standing out there, and he actually had the live, and then they banned the live. He can't get the footage back, but he was out there. People saw the live, and he said he saw a large area. They were in hazmat suits. The fire department was there. Somerset County also went down there to help and assist, and they were there the entire day. So the fact that they were in hazmat suits has got me a little concerned. Now it can be they're just being protective of themselves, and they're, being
Yeah.
cautious, or they know something. And so there has been one that has either crashed or been shot down in Jersey.
Well, wow, I didn't. Okay, so that, I mean, that lends to another theory going around, is that they're looking for missing radioactive material. Have you heard that one? That
Mm-hmm.
so that means
Mm-hmm.
they would be like government drones, but they're looking for some missing radioactive material, which sounds kind of creepy. And I mean, if that were the case, I would explain why they had hazmat suits and were down there all day trying to get that, I don't know, cleaned up. But that one's already, it's like they're already coming out saying that's not true either. Uh,
Well, if we think about the trail of the drones, if it was material that they lost, warhead, whatever it is they lost, I wonder if there's a pattern to where it started and where it's going. Like, would it be somewhere that's you can travel and there's a path and that's why they're going in those areas, or are they sporadic and all over the place, which would lead you to think they're not necessarily looking for that?
yeah,
That
I
would
don't
be my
know.
thought process.
Yeah. Right. The Mayor Michael Melham of Belleville, New Jersey. Do you know where that is? Are you familiar with Belleville
I don't
since you're
know.
from
I
New
don't know
Jersey?
Belleville.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
he said that he thinks the drones are searching for something, because they're flying in a pattern, like as if they were, searching for something, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. It's more of a
Mm-hmm.
pattern. And that's why he thinks that, grid-like pattern, so maybe they are, and he does think it's the radioactive, I guess it's a radioactive pin that went missing. I don't know what that
Mm.
means. In early December. But then these drones started in November, I thought. So that timeline doesn't really match up either.
There is
So,
no consistency in these stories. Like,
no, there's not.
and
No.
I think everyone is truly clueless. So
Yeah. So, yeah. And then I saw an article today that a moderator of a Reddit forum dedicated to drones, he actually resigned in a fury because he says this is all bullshit. He says, uh, none of this are actual drones. He said it's all bullshit, and declared, I can't stem the tide of dumbness.
oh.
He wrote a note, a resignation note, basically, and he said, to address the obvious, the current idiotic discourse over non-existent swarms of drones in the eastern U.S. contributed to this choice of him resigning. Seriously, if you guys were seeing all the posts I've been removing for the past couple weeks, you'd be sick of this place too. But he resigned in a big tizzy, and his I read his resignation letter. It's really long, so we're not going to read it here. But I mean, he does talk about these are all either manned drones or they're police drones, or they're, in some cases it's actual aircraft. He's basically saying that this is kind of like, sky is falling, chicken little situation, where one person thought they saw a drone, and so then they're telling someone else. And I mean, it could have been a drone, could have been a neighborhood drone, but it's kind of more spreading word of mouth and getting sensationalized and turning into something. He's convinced it's nothing, and we're all just blowing it out of proportion, and it's, snowballing into where we're at right now, and it's all bullshit. That's what he says.
So it could be like, look over here and we'll go over here, do something else so that we take your mind off of this so that you focus on this. Could it be that?
I mean, he didn't say that. I think he thinks that we're just a bunch of idiots. Like the U.S. is a bunch of idiots that are going to play the game of telephone and get it totally wrong in the end. I don't. Yeah, I see you're like, that makes sense too.
I
But
mean,
I mean,
everything does.
yeah, some people are saying it's just another diversion, like what you were saying. Like, hey, look over here at these drones, and let's put a big mystery behind that, so you don't see what we're doing over here behind this curtain. I've
Mm-hmm.
not heard of what's going on behind the curtain, um, to know what's backing that one up. But yeah, I mean, that's out there too, as if it's just orchestrated to, yeah, get our attention.
Change. Yep. Move your attention off of something else.
Like the
That you,
government shut down. But
that's
okay,
yeah.
but
That
we
leads you
got.
to the next.
I know, but we got one more conspiracy I did need to mention. Have you heard of the Project Bluebeam conspiracy?
I've heard about it, but I don't know much about it.
Oh, that's just, I mean, it's a conspiracy that's been going around for, I mean, decades now, that it's supposedly our government is going to, plan a fake alien invasion to, usher in the Antichrist and a one world government. And the people that believe this are really taking this as like, this is it, stage one, we're here. Uh,
Well, I mean, they have other theories to back that up with where we're going with Trump. I'm just saying.
oh, don't say that.
That's where we're going with Trump. That is
I mean,
definitely
he
how I
definitely
feel.
wants to be a dictator if he had it his way.
He said on day one, I will be a dictator. He said it. I'm not even imagining that.
With
So
his most recent run or the last one?
this one.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
he said on day one, I plan on being a dictator.
I mean, it's like he was president once and understood all the things he got wrong, so that
Hmm.
now he does know, like, this is, I mean, he's definitely surrounded himself with the right people that's going to help him be a dictator. That's
That's the
chilling.
plan, man. Project 2025 is a real deal. And that's something else that I learned. It's like, in Project 2025, they talk about more or less dismantling the media, anyone that disagrees with Trump. And recently, he was being interviewed and somebody asked him, are you planning on going after creators, like influencers, creators that have a big following? And he said, first, it'll be the newspapers. And then, of course, if we have to do it, we'll do it. That's what we have to do. And it's like, well, if we're talking about Trump and Trump makes the decision on what is true and false when we all know he doesn't know the difference,
At all.
how is that, an unbiased decision? It's not.
Right. Well, and
It's scary.
it's so hypocritical because Elon's right up there with him. That's his buddy right now, and he bought Twitter just because he wanted to make it free speech and you can say anything you want to, and that's why I'm buying it, because we need to go back and we need to stop all the, where the liberals are making everyone shut up and blah 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 blah. But then they're gonna literally, shut down news that they don't like. Like, what
Well,
happened to free speech and the Constitution?
yeah, and I have to be honest, the more I hear about Elon Musk, the more I get freaked out. Like, he freaks me out more than Trump freaks me out.
You should.
And he is one of the main reasons that the government is headed for a shutdown. I guess, what is it, 24 hours from now? So by the time this airs, we'll know whether it was shut down or not. But it's scary. It's really scary. And I can't remember, Elon Musk's mother came out in an interview too, and said something, and I can't remember what it was, but I was like, what in the hell? Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
what
look
she's
up Elon Musk's mother.
I know who his mother is, but I haven't heard what she's saying.
I mean, it just happened. Mom in interview.
It makes zero sense. He's a fucking South African, isn't he? Like, he's not even fucking from here. How are we letting this man decide, like, our government now? This makes fucking so fucked up. Like, this is not real. This is
It does. It feels like we're living in a
a
simulation.
simulation. That's where I was going.
I know.
It's just more proof, like, this shit is just, like, idiocracy.
Yeah, here it is. Elon Musk's mother, May Musk, is facing criticism after suggesting that people should have children regardless of whether they can afford them or not. Um, his mom appeared on December 15th on Fox and Friends with Rachel Campos Duffy, where she was asked about her response on X, formerly Twitter, last month to a comedian who claimed that it was too expensive to have children. Musk argued that if certain expenses, such as going out to eat, were eliminated, it was possible to start a family. Having children is the greatest gift in your life, which, sure, yes. When Elon was born, we were in a small 2-bedroom apartment overlooking a garage. When Kimball was born, we moved to a 2-bedroom apartment with a view. Blah, 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 blah. We didn't go out to dinner nor to the movies. As my former husband was promoted at the engineering firm, we upgraded our lifestyle. He then opened his own engineering firm, and we could move to a beautiful home in a better area. She concluded by claiming that having children never forced her to sacrifice anything, and that they add value to your life.
Oh, she's, like, living in a bubble, and that's her reality. But, like, that's not reality. That's not everybody else's reality. Honey, if your son didn't have so much fucking money, maybe people could afford to have kids. I mean, that's the problem. Like, him and Jeff Bezos have all the fucking money, and all his other little, the 50 families that have, 99% of the world's wealth. Like, get the fuck out of here. And she's part of that.
I know.
And
Yeah,
I
she's
refuse
part
to
of that.
believe that they ever lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. His mom was a model. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
privilege.
Yeah. Did you want to finish anything on the government? I'm not the government shutdown on the drones. If not, I
No.
have something I want to go into.
Yeah, no, I think we covered all the. I mean, right now, there's nothing else to cover just because they don't know nothing.
Yeah.
We picked apart
Um,
the conspiracy theories, so.
well, we didn't say aliens, which is also one of those theories. So,
Well, that's the Project Bluebeam. I mean, we could
oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
go
We did
into
then.
it because we
Hmm.
didn't really go into detail. We just said Project Bluebeam, that it's a staged alien invasion. I guess there's also, it's not Bluebeam and not staged, it's real aliens. That would be a separate one from that. Real aliens. Do we think it's real aliens that's out here doing all this? I mean, if it is, they want us to see them on purpose because they've been around for probably ever and we've never seen them before. So if it is aliens, they obviously want us to know they're there this time.
At first I was like, is this aliens? Like that's the first thing my mind went to because they just told us they live in the ocean, so where else am I going to go with it? So I was like, all right, maybe this is aliens. And the more we're moving through it, I just don't feel any panic in anybody's eyes really, so it makes me feel like it's all earthbound shit.
Yeah. I mean, it could definitely be earthbound shit. But then I would say I gauging people not being panicked, I wouldn't use that as a gauge because even when the government came out and said, hey, UFOs are real, nobody was panicked. And I thought that would have been like a game changer. Like, nobody panicked. So, you know,
No, you're right. No, you're right. So basically, we know nothing. We know
nothing.
absolutely freaking nothing.
That's what's
How
crazy.
fucked is that? That is just
Yeah.
beyond belief at this point in our lives that
It
we
makes
don't know.
makes zero. That's what I said. It's only two options. Either they know and they're hiding some, or they don't know and are like it's embarrassing. Shit.
Very, very.
Mm.
And I would say to anyone, if you're listening and you think you know what it is, you need to tell us. We want to know. We're dying to know, and nothing is too crazy. We will listen.
Right.
So throw it in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking because we have no idea. We're clueless. So I did hear Bethany Frank. I think Bethany Frankel. I know. Listen, I
I
know
want to
my
know what,
sources.
but I do want to know what she said because I saw the headlines, but actually I couldn't click on it.
You did see the
I
headlines.
saw headlines that like she has a theory, and I'm like, I'm not entertaining that one. I do want to know though. Tell me, give me the tea.
Okay, let me find her because I need you to hear it. Because see, I feel like the only listen. I am not using Bethany Frankel as my news source. I want you to know. I want that to be very, very clear. All right, I'm
Uh-huh.
not. But I do believe Bethany Frankel does have friends in high places. She does know people and she does have a very long extended network. So when she says the person she talked to told her that she should get her daughter and probably go somewhere, that freaked me out a little bit. And she publicized it. So I'm going to find the one where she says that.
Tonight is the highest concentration. So the FAA created a no-fly zone. And in that zone are areas where you guys weren't saying there was a high concentration of drones anyway. So
That's
it's
not it.
safe.
Okay, she's gone full drone.
That plasmoids are real and that they can be confused as orbs, but
What?
that they would not be.
That's not the one.
Oh, I'm like, what is a plasmoid? I gotta Google
That
that.
I've heard that too.
I gotta go to the Google machine.
Here it is.
Someone who was SWAT, who flew aircrafts in the military, who currently flies helicopters for high profile, high security individuals, said that the helicopters for NEST, which search for NUCLEARWs, have not
Nuclear.
left. That doesn't necessarily mean anything because if they did leave, then we would absolutely have an answer. Said that these drones, which are in full force tonight on a crazy rainy night, that they are seemingly searching for something, possibly radiological, he said, and that drones are electric, not fuel. So was sort of comparing them to what helicopter flights are. So still, obviously, in this volume, it's very expensive, but not like having all these private planes that are manned and operated by fuel in the air. Don't know if that helps anybody.
That's not what it was. Shit.
So she thinks like that it's
Expensive.
searching for the radioactive stuff that we're missing.
So last night,
No, but
lit, no pun intended.
I want you to hear the scary one.
So this is unsettling. It's the upside down.
Is it?
Party that I just spoke to saw 4 aircrafts in. Okay,
She said, I'm sorry. It's.
Oh, you're fine.
I think it's it.
Worked with Pentagon and NASA and like secret projects, and he has been messaging me that he will never forgive himself if he doesn't tell the people that he knows that for a month he's been watching this situation. And now, several days ago, before it became a discussion in the mainstream media, that these drones are ours and that they could very possibly be sniffing out something very dangerous, some missing dangerous W from the war, and that areas that coincide with where the drones have been seen have spiked in radiation. So he said it's time to think about where I am and that I might want to go somewhere with my daughter. So like for me, you know, we blow things off and we think nothing's going to happen, but things do happen. I remember sitting in my car with my driver who said to me months before I even knew what the words were.
So she's all over that. She's all invested in that. And it's probably because it gets a lot of views. But when she said that, I was like, okay, so what do we do? We're just going to hang out and be fried.
Right.
What the fuck are we going to do? You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, if you're listening to us, please let us know what you think. We're all over the place. I'm hoping maybe the next time we come up, maybe we can have an update and talk about what they found out, because I can't believe it would just be, that's it. We never know anything.
Well, unfortunately, I just found another story that adds more weight to what you were talking about.
The crash.
Well, it just says a U.S.-China relations expert has issued a chilling warning for Americans to plan for the worst in light of the ongoing drone mystery. And it's following reports of unexplained radiation spikes in the area. A Geiger counter world map, a tool that monitors global radiation levels, flagged 2 areas in the New York metro region as red this week. These areas are reportedly exceeding the safety threshold of 200 counts per minute. Similar red flags have been raised further north near Connecticut.
Yeah, I think that's probably the closest to truth.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
He says that they could be linked to radiation. Oh, Chang has wrote a book. If you want to find out who this guy is, his latest book, Plan Red, China's Project to Destroy America. He explores the looming threat of a surprise Chinese attack on American soil. He drew parallels between the current drone situation and the 2023 spy balloon crisis, when a Chinese craft was detected in U.S. airspace. So, I mean, sounds like Chang's kind of could be radiation, or it could be the China planning an invasion, which that would make just as much sense as all the other theories, honestly.
Well, the good thing is we can't live in fear. So we just got to, keep going and hope that if it is our drones and they are looking for something, that they find it. They find it. And I still believe that the Texas ones were not like the other
No,
ones. I
not
feel like,
related.
you know what I mean? Yeah, it
Yeah,
just doesn't feel the same because there was
yeah,
like a few and they were gone.
yeah.
So I
Let's
think the
hope.
ones over Jersey are very valid.
Well, it sounds like those are, yeah. But hopefully the
Mm-hmm.
Texas ones, like you said, are just some scammers or some kids or, some like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, on another note,
Another
we
positive note.
I know, right? As our world is ending, let's hit another subject. Happy New Year. Fuck. Yeah, so I was watching about the government shutdown. Have you heard anything about it?
A little bit, yeah.
What'd you hear? Because I'm gonna play something that I just saw on TikTok, so I want to know what you know about it.
I mean, I didn't go really into this because this happens quite often where the government is close to shut down and it's a lot of drama in the Senate, and they don't want to approve the plan, and they go back and forth, and usually it's a Hail Mary the last hour right before it's going to actually shut down. So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
don't always pay attention to that when it's going to happen, but I did see that just some interesting things that apparently Elon Musk is flexing his authority and he has a big part in this shutdown. So I'm curious to hear what you have on it.
Okay, so this is Democrats pile on. It's titled Today, the 19th. It says Democrats pile on President Musk for interfering in the spending bill fight.
For president here, just going to move office, or Johnson should maybe just win Elon Musk the gavel if they just want that billionaire to win.
Look, billionaires are running the show here. And so what I want to say to people is you thought you voted for Trump. You didn't actually. You voted for billionaires to run the show. Because who's taking orders from whom? Musk is calling the shots, and the House GOP is falling in line. And these billionaires, they don't care about us. They don't care about Americans. Elon Musk wants a big, massive tax break in the next administration. That's what this is about, folks. It's about a big freaking tax break for billionaires. That's what it's about. Don't be confused about what's going on here.
So you think we'll be in a shutdown?
Oh, I do. I do, because they don't care. They don't care. And Johnson is so worried about his speakership that he's going to cave. He's going to cave. My Republican colleagues are going to cave because they're too afraid of being primaried to do the right thing. That's what this is about. Thanks.
I would agree with her 100%.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy is that people don't even realize what they voted for. Really
Right.
realize what they voted for. It's Trump is not the one. He's not the one. I'm afraid it's all his cronies that are around him. Elon specifically really scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, I mean and it's led up to this. This has been years in the making, honestly, because at this point, all our politicians are bought by corporations or billionaires or just that elite class, and so there's nobody that's going to stop them and put a roadblock up because they're all bought and paid for too. It's the Young Turks was saying, I heard them talking about it's at this point our government is a bunch of simpletons. Like, they're not smarter than us. They don't know more than us. Like, do they know stuff we don't know? No, they don't. They are a bunch of simpletons who are bought. And that is exactly what the ruling class wanted, are simpletons that they can just run over. And that's what's happening from the top to the bottom at this point. Not only have all the, senators and all that are bought, presidency is now too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm hoping that they're able to get the ERA put through before. That's the Equal Rights Amendment for anybody listening that's unsure of what those letters mean. Those are really big, bold letters because it means that we women will be protected in the Constitution. And I know people want to talk about all these other amendments that say that we're protected, but we're not, because it doesn't specifically say sexes. You can't be discriminated based on sex. It doesn't say that anywhere else. So until we can get that in there, we are not protected. And Trump fought it his last term.
Of course he did.
Yeah, I mean, and the crazy thing is, this has been, I think it's just I want you to hear just the beginning of this, because I think it might shock you. Did you know this has been going on for 107 years? We've been fighting for this bill. The ERA, the equal rate. Let me just play you this, because I didn't know it either. And I'm learning a lot as we get further into things. Here it is. Let me unmute it.
All of the drama around the Equal Rights Amendment right now and what you can and must do before January 20th. First of all, let's get some ERA facts straight. Fact number one, the Equal Rights Amendment was introduced 101 years ago, turned 101 last week. It was passed out of the House and Congress in the 70s, and it was sent to the states for ratification. Fact number two, there are only 2 steps in the Constitution required to amend it. Step number 1, the bill has to be passed by the House and Congress and sent to the states. Step number 2, it has to be ratified by 38 states. And ratified means each state's House and Senate have to affirm the bill. So fact number 3 is that in 2020, on January 15th, Virginia became the 38th and final state needed to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. There are lots of legal questions around the Equal Rights Amendment related to a time limit on ratification that was put in the preamble of the bill when it passed out of the House and Congress in the 70s by people who wanted to sink the Equal Rights Amendment. It was about 5 men, as you might imagine. However, the ratification process to amend the Constitution obviously requires hyper consensus, and we have achieved it. There is nothing in the Constitution that contemplates a deadline. There's also nothing in the Constitution that really contemplated we would ever be 50 states and need 38 of them to agree on
That's
anything,
bullshit.
such as we are. And the Equal Rights Amendment has achieved that. The other things that are facts that are important, and I forgot what number we're on, we might be on 4, maybe 5, is that the Equal Rights Amendment has incredibly broad support. Nearly 80% of Americans would like it to be affirmed into the Constitution. And really the last step is for the archivist to certify and publish it. She, who is linked through her husband to a Koch brothers enterprise, this makes me feel kind of shady, she has said, I'm not going to do it. But she doesn't actually get to decide what she does or doesn't do. She is a cleric of the Constitution and of our national documentation. So she has to do what the Constitution says has to be affirmed. President Biden should be able to instruct her to simply publish the Equal Rights Amendment since it has achieved its final ratifications. And I just want to point out, this is my final fact, number 6, maybe more, is that every single amendment to the Constitution has had major legal questions around it at the time of its ratification. And collectively, as a society, we've just gone, you know what? That should be in there. And so the Equal Rights Amendment, which is 24 words to affirm gender equality in the Constitution, that we should not apply laws differently based on the gender that you are, we all pretty much broadly agree. And that is Republicans, Democrats, Independents, we broadly agree that that's language that should be in there. We're the only modern Constitution without it. We have
Only
until
one.
January 20th. Because the Trump administration has made it extremely clear that they would like to tank the ERA. They tried after the final state ratified in 2020, and they will try again. And really now there are 2 paths, and only one is really feasible. So one path is that Congress and the Senate somehow magically get their shit together to pass a bill that rescinds this unconstitutional.
She talks a lot, but she's a filmmaker, and she's actually done a whole film on it. The archivist is our answer. And I think Biden just did an interview recently. It hasn't been released yet, but little clips have been. And they said, what do you want to accomplish before your term ends? And he said women's rights. So I feel like he's listening. People are making a rumbling. And I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it'll happen?
I hope so.
I'm scared. It might not. I'm really nervous that something can come in the middle and block it. But
Biden's like penile at this point. I don't know.
do you guys, I mean, anybody listening, Phoebe and I are filming this on December 19th. Okay. So tomorrow we will have 30 days to make this happen. So I think if you listen to anything in this podcast today, listen to this. This right here is so much more important than you could possibly ever dream of with Trump coming into play. This is a big deal because they want to take women's rights away. So please make some more noise. We don't have that much time to do it. And after you're done, you're done. But you might have just protected yourself and your daughters. So please do something.
Yes, please.
Yeah. 20 days or 30 days. We have 30 days. So that is my big headline.
Okay.
Because you know how I am. I'm all about that, and it's freaking me out.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you
hopefully it happens. Yeah. So, and I'll put some information in the show notes in case anybody wants to go over the steps again, and we can protect ourselves together. So the last thing on my list is the TikTok ban. Yeah.
That's heavy hitting for you.
Well, it's heavy hitting for me because
Everybody.
I love hearing people's point of view, and I'm an adult and I know how to look on Google and make sure there's facts behind it. Do I always? No, but I know I can. And so I think free speech is so very important. But not only for me, there's a lot of people that make their money there, and they are slated to lose. I think it's like in the $1 billion for the economy. This is a lot of money we're talking about. And they're crippling people that make their income there with TikTok Shop and their sales. And, you know, Amazon's now a part of it. And it's a big and it's a growing area to sell your own personal things, your products. Yeah. And then, of course, you know, you're talking about the influencers that have these huge followings that they're making money there. And that's how they, you know, get their word out there. And we use it. That's where our social media platform is. And I'm almost at 3,000 on my own personal page. And it's, you know, I've made friends there. So I have been, of course, because I feel like it's going to happen, been throwing out, this is where you can find me. This is, you know, our podcast. I've been putting it out almost in every post. I have it out there and it's working. People are definitely going to other platforms. I'm not really an X person. I won't use X. So I went to Blue Sky, which is the old Twitter. And I think the old Twitter founders are part of it. Could be wrong. You can double check me on that and let me know in the comments, but I think they're behind it. So it's a very good place if you don't want to be listening to Elon Musk all the time. But that's a spot. But I'm not really a poster like that. You know, that's not been my platform. I'm more of a speaker. So yeah, hopefully YouTube will grow.
You really think that the TikTok is going to get banned?
Well, it's slated to be banned officially on January 19th. TikTok's fighting, man. They are fighting. ByteDance, they are fighting. And the Supreme Court just agreed to hear from them. And that is slated for January 20th. So they have like weeks to prepare for this case. But they will hear them. But they haven't stopped the ban that's scheduled for January 19th. Everything hinges on the January 10th hearing. But what will happen is the TikTok app is not just going to magically disappear from our phones. It will, however, not be available on the App Store. So Apple and Spotify, you won't be able to get it. And there will be no updates. So essentially, the app will just disintegrate. It will not be any good. It'll take a few months to do that, but that's what will ultimately happen. And people are saying, go get a VPN, you know, from Canada or all these other places that you can do. And I don't know if that's legal or not. I mean, I don't know.
A lot too. Like, who can do that?
Yeah, I don't know much about that. And I'm not I'm not going to take a chance. I'm not going to do it. Like, it is what it is. I'll accept the fate of it. And you're going to see a lot more things happen. This is just going to be the air of a new social media app will be born, hopefully better. And we'll all be there so we can talk to each other.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Okay.
So there you go. You got anything else for me? For them? Not for me. Not for me.
Well,
Of course she doesn't. Phoebe's a woman of few words when it comes to the end of a season, a year. Yeah, so we are, I mean, this essentially is probably going to be our last podcast episode for
be
these.
off on your road trip. You're not going to be podcasting.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
I mean,
So close out the year for us, Phoebe. Give us some really powerful words for us to use going into the new year.
I am at a loss, Christy. I mean, I tried to think of something, but this year was just such dog shit that I don't even want to, because I think last year
You said nothing last year. You said the
Yeah.
same fucking thing
But it's
as
like,
you did.
I can't say like, fuck the, I'm just torn because I don't want to say something and jinx us and make it, I don't know.
Fair. All right. Well, I'll speak for both of us
Okay.
if you have nothing. Okay.
Thank you.
And I'm just I didn't write anything. I didn't even think about it. I don't even know what I'm going to say right now, but I'm just going to speak and say that I think for us, it's been a year of personal growth. Our podcast started as Code Green Plant in 2023, September. That was our first podcast episode. And we have just been, I think, growing. I think it becomes easier and easier as we sit here and do it. And I foresee great things in the future when it comes to this and our own careers outside of this. I see some really good things there. We've picked up some great listeners here on the podcast. We got our year in review, and we see Germany is still holding steady as one of the top countries listening to us.
That's
so
awesome.
I know we can't say enough good things about Germany. We really can't. And so I think if we can look past the dumpster fire of our government and what's about to happen there, and if we can afford to survive, good things are coming. Good
Yeah.
things are coming.
If the drones don't like kill us all somehow, or an alien invasion doesn't happen, there's not a nuclear warhead going off in New York. Good year. Good year ahead.
Good year. Just don't go in the ocean if you don't want to get swallowed up by an alien invasion inside the sea. What else?
Yeah.
No freedom of speech because all the media will be gone. So that's all we got for you.
Good luck. We're going to be here, though, to report on it, and we will support each other through it just like we did this year.
Yeah, we will.
We will. We're fighting, and we'll keep fighting.
We'll keep fighting. That's the main thing, is we're survivors, and we're going to figure this out together. And we want to thank you for simply vibing with us. Do you want to share any words of parting?
No.
I almost choked.